Wait, there's one particular record I want to shout out my comrade Nardwar for bringing this to light because when he interviewed Lil Wayne, I was unaware just your origins. But
Yeah.
how did you discover, or how did New Orleans discover and adopt Triggerman's Showboys? Like the what all right, for people listening right now, the Triggerman break is what I typically call the New Orleans break, the bounce break,
Yeah.
which is da 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 da, like
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
808 break. I did not know that was a New York record, and I'd never heard it. I mean, I was pretty much aware of hip hop radio as far as like cousins giving me tapes from WB, like from Mr. Magic Show, and of course we had Lady B in Philadelphia. But how did that record wind up
So
defining a city?
DJs, honestly, DJs. So this is what happened for maybe 5 years. We played the vocal side of the record, like just the regular vocal side of the record, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody in New Orleans knew this record. Everybody in New Orleans, because that's an example of DJs breaking the record. But it was broke in New Orleans because, like, just the storyline of it. The storyline of the song is like it's a criminal storyline. You know what I'm saying? It's two gangsters fighting over whatever. So that fit in that era of and plus it had that 808 beat. For some reason, we have always been a city that's drawn to the 808. I don't know, maybe my earliest stuff was Miami based. And that was New Orleans introduction to, a hip hop producer. So all my earliest stuff was 808 based. So everybody thought like, okay, that's what this is kind of like what you got to follow. Like, this is how you produce a song, like, and this is what we used to hearing. So the 808 always resonated with us. And then we start like the essence of hip hop. We start doing call and response. And what's nuts is this kind of started with my dad. My dad would let Juvie and them rock the mic off of the Trigger Man beat. And this was before bounce was even called bounce. This was just in the projects where you would give a MC a mic and be like, hey, let's see who. But when the 808 part dropped, that's when the crowd went crazy. That's when because it had hard, like it had like hard Lindrum sounds or whatever, and then it went
Yeah,
into
like Art
this.
of Noise. Gah,
Yeah, yeah,
gah,
and then
gah,
it
gah,
went
gah,
into
gah.
this.
Yeah.
Then it went to that 808 drop. But when the 808 drop happened, that's when the crowd went. You just like, oh, that part right there. And so you had MCs going, well, can you make that part go back and forth? So that part became a part of the show, going like, hey, so just backspin just that part, like on some Grandmaster Flash shit, where you find a break in a song and you just like just these 4 bars right here. This got to
Right.
repeat, and it became just call and response, and mostly projects and block parties, and it would be like
So the whole where
Uptown
they
did,
at back and
yeah,
forth
yeah,
thing.
Uptown did this, downtown y'all got to come harder, but it was always over that beat, like, you know what I'm saying. And then if it was something where, say, like if it was a school dance and I was DJing or something, everybody met up at that school dance, and the best people would be like, hey, let's see who rocked this song the best. And before you know it, it evolved into bounce. And even the reason why we even call it bounce, because everybody used to just kind of like do this off of every time it came on,
Right.
and we always shortened everything up in New Orleans. The original song is called Drag Rap. We called it Trigger Man because there's a delay part in the song that go Trigger Man, Trigger, and everybody was like, so
So-
of
oh, it
course,
was called drag rap.
yeah, it's called Drag Rap. The
See, I thought it was
original
always
name of
called
the
Trigger
song is
Man.
Drag
Okay.
Rap. But
Okay.
there's a part, the delay part that says Trigger Man. Everybody always liked that little part. So they start calling the song Trigger Man. There's like, hey, play Trigger Man. We got like I'll give you some history. So even that beat, like when we say that beat is more of like a bounce beat. It
Yes.
started with people beating on the DJ, like beating on the plexiglass, going, play that beat, play that beat. And then, people start calling it that beat. They like, you know what that beat is, and that beat is always a bounce. Like,
I never knew that.
yeah.
Okay.
The earlier days, the essence of it, like the hand claps and all of that, I created that in a club that I was DJing at. Me and KLC. I used to bring my SP12 because I was up against some dope DJs. It was KLC and it was this dude DJ Duck, and I was like, to make it a little bit better, I'm gonna start bringing my drum machines just on. So when the SB12 came out, of course it ain't have nothing but probably 4 or 5 seconds, but
Right.
it was genius because I could take this Trigger Man loop, sample it, and put some hand claps on it. And whenever I did that in the club, and you know, it went crazy because everybody would be like, who has this song? What is this song? And I'm like, no, this is a sequence. This is something that, and that became a big deal. And every time you hear that, bah, bah, that was something that I created in the club. And you know, and more people was asking for it. You know, Jubilee's getting ready, getting ready. That's
Getting
I
ready to
actually
get
that's
yes.
and people were like, wait, you did that song? I was like,
You
yeah,
did
I
that
did that.
song?
Yes, I did that song.
About this,
Yeah.
that, that, roll with it. About this, roll. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And folks is like, I didn't know. Y'all was like, yeah, that's one of my beats. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like the essence of hip hop. Hip hop, you know, how it starts with a beat, a break, and just a crazy idea. But bounce is really Cameron Paul, that the Brown Beat song, and Trigger Man. Now,
Okay.
before Brown Beat, there was this dude, Derek B, who made Rock the Beat. Rock
On
the Beat is
profile.
the
Yeah, yeah, Derek
yeah,
B.
on Profile. Rock the Beat is actually the same song. You know, we used to play Rock the Beat all the time in New Orleans. Just the instrumental of it is that boom boom cat cat boom cat boom
I
cat boom
know.
boom cat.
Yes.
Yeah. So we would always play Rock the Beat, but nobody in New Orleans knew the name of it, so they just start calling it that beat.
Everything I ever wanted to know about New Orleans culture that I'd never got to ask.
Yeah, because you got to think both of these songs by label status. I mean, by labels, it was failures. Derek B, Rock the Beat. You just like
Yeah, I'm
nobody
about to.
never jammed that song or whatever. But New Orleans, yeah, Trigger Man, nobody jammed that song. New Orleans, like and Orville and you know, both of them still they're legends in New Orleans. They could pretty much do whatever they want. And I remember the first time the group came to New Orleans, right, and they performed and this drug dealer dude got him, you know, and got him to come to New Orleans, and they was singing like I think they had a song called "Cartoon" something or whatever at the time,
Right.
and they did that, and we was like, bro, y'all got to
Just
sing drag
just do
rap,
the song.
yeah, just do the song, and it was just like and we was like, just do the song, and when the song came on, the crowd went crazy, and it was just like, dude, and we was just like, yeah, that's the anthem, down.
So they had no clue.
Yeah, they had no clue, none whatsoever. No, and they had to do that song 3 times back to back.